Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ned Bellavance, Ned1313 on Twitter, and welcome to the Daily Check-In. Thanks for tuning in. It is May 18th, 2020, so we're halfway through May. Whoa, that happened quickly. And today's topic is going to be, which cloud certification should I get? It's a loaded question, so we're going to dive into that a little bit. And this was by request by a viewer who was curious, taking a strategic look at the landscape of certifications. Which one should I get right now? Great question, and we're going to get to that very shortly. A couple housekeeping items. Number one, this Friday is Ask Me Anything. So at the end of actually, no, that's next Friday. Excuse me. So next Friday is Ask Me Anything. So I just kind of wanted to get ahead of that now. If you have questions for me, the last Friday of every month is Ask Me Anything. So if that's of interest to you, you want to ask whatever questions you have, big or small, that's the time to do it. Ask Me Anything Fridays. So hit me up on there. I've also been getting a lot of good topics from people, but I'd like to keep them coming in. So if you have a topic that you would like me to discuss, you can leave it in the comments. You can hit me up on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn, like whatever works for you. Come out of the woodwork, ask me questions. I'm happy to hear them. With that out of the way, I want to check in with you. How are you doing? Things going okay? Hopefully you had a nice, relaxing weekend. I had an interesting weekend. The kids decided to do a camp out with me, which meant I didn't sleep a whole lot last night. But we did have fun, and we heard at least one fox, which if you've never heard a fox before, it kind of sounds like a dog that's crying a little bit, like whimpering dog. That's kind of what a fox sounds like. And we heard them multiple times, which when you're in a tent in your backyard was a little weird, but that's where we're at. That's what's going on in the world. All right, so let's get to the topic at hand. Cloud certifications. Now, for the context of this conversation, I'm just going to take it as a given that getting a certification is a good idea. We can argue that back and forth. I think for a lot of people, it still has value. For some people, it no longer has value. And that has a lot to do with where you are in your career. When I got to a certain point in my career, certifications stopped mattering because now I was designing products and solutions. They don't care that I was, AWS SA Pro certified. What they cared is, could I create a product and deliver it to market? So it really depends on your job and your function. But there is a time and place for certifications. So which one should you get? Well, let's talk about the landscape for the moment. There are cloud-specific certifications that you can go out and get, and AWS has their line of certifications. There were originally 5. They had 5 big certs. They had 3 associate level certs and then 2 professional level certs. Now, that has since changed because they've added specialty certs. So there's like an advanced networking specialty cert that I'm aware of, and I believe that there are others that specialize in AI and ML or something like that. So there are specialty certs as well, but the original are like the big 5. Then there's Azure, which Azure had a whole bunch of certifications, which they retired or are retiring at the end of this year. And they introduced a bunch of new certifications that all start with the AZ moniker. So if you're looking for Microsoft Azure specific certifications, that's what you go after. And just like AWS, they have sort of their core certifications around IaaS and PaaS, and then they have a bunch of specialty certifications for like data scientists and that kind of thing. And then, of course, there's Office 365 certs. Then Google has their line of certifications. I haven't taken those, so I don't know a ton about them, but I know they exist. And then there's other clouds like Oracle has their certifications. I've seen some people getting those, and Alibaba has some certifications as well. So in terms of like the bigger cloud companies out there, they all have their own certification programs. So that's one option. You can pursue that avenue. Then there's more like cloudy but cloud agnostic type certifications, and those in some cases might make more sense. What am I talking about there? Well, for instance, there is the Linux level of certifications that is, I guess, behind the Linux Foundation. They have just their standard Linux certifications, or you can get a specific distribution certified. Red Hat has a whole line of certifications you can get in Linux. And because Linux is the most popular operating system across all of the clouds, it might make sense to get your certification in that if you're going to be working with that operating system a lot. Okay, so that's a kind of a cross cloud certification. Another one is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is now available in every public cloud and also on prem. So there are two Kubernetes certifications that I know of. There might be more now, but there were two big ones. One's developer and the other is administrator. Again, you could go with those certifications, which would then give you a cross cloud competency. Another one is HashiCorp has recently released their Vault and Terraform associate level certifications. And they also have, I believe, a console certification that they're working on. So if you like the HashiCorp family of products, again, cross cloud, they're not specific to any of the clouds, could give you a leg up there. And then lastly, there's things like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, all those tool sets that exist out there that really can work in any cloud. So you're not tying yourself down specifically to Azure or AWS. So that's sort of the certification landscape. And I hope I painted a good picture there, because the next thing is how can you be strategic about selecting your certifications? And I think before you can select a cert, you first have to select a goal. Why are you pursuing a certification? Now, there's a couple different reasons I thought of. One is you want to advance in your existing role in the company you're at right now. If that's the case, then you're probably going to want to get certified in the technologies that your company is either currently using or plans to use. So if you are primarily an AWS shop, then getting your AWS certifications is kind of an obvious path. But if you catch the wind that they're also thinking about going to Google Cloud and no one in your organization has a Google cert, well, maybe that makes more sense, because that can help you advance. So that's if you're staying in your current role and you just want to move up in the company, then knowing more about the company culture and what their plans are and projects helps you map out that certification strategy. And honestly, talk to your manager and ask them, what certifications should I be pursuing, and will you reimburse me for it? Because that's a big thing too. If they will, that's awesome. Now, that's if you currently have a job and you want to stay at that job. That's not everybody, obviously. Some people either do not have a job at the moment, or they're looking to make a move. Your certification strategy in that case should probably hinge on two things. One, looking at open recs at companies and seeing what technologies are most favored for those companies. So if you are looking at the open recs and you're seeing must be AWS certified in 50 out of 80 recs that you look at, well, okay, maybe AWS certification is what you want. There was a period of time last year, I don't know if this is still the case, where Google Cloud certified people were in high demand because there weren't that many and there were a lot of open recs for Google Cloud. So if you were smart and you had the gumption to do it, you could go out and get that certification and probably pick up a job pretty quickly. So that's one thing to look for. And also look for non-cloud certifications like the ones I mentioned before that will help you distinguish yourself from the rest of the pack in terms of certifications. So that's if you want to change jobs. I look at the open recs, and I said there was a second thing. Also consider what you actually want to learn, because that if you learn the technology because it's on a rec, but you hate that technology, like I would never go into data science because I am just not a data science person. I'm not going to go get a data science certification. It doesn't make any sense for me to do. I wouldn't be happy with the job. And even if I got the cert, I probably wouldn't do well. So those are the two things to think about when it comes to certification if you're job hunting. The last is if you're planning to make a lateral move in your organization or to a different organization. Maybe you're an ops person today and you're looking to shift to more of a developer role. Then I would say you have to map your certifications to what's expected in that new role. And probably the best thing to do is just talk to people who are already in that role and ask them what certifications they would recommend. Or you could look at open recs that are similar to the role you want to go into and see what they recommend. And that might not even be a cloud certification, or it might be one of those specialty certifications that I talked about before. Maybe you are primarily an ops person and you want to go really deep into networking. So getting that advanced AWS networking cert is what makes the most sense. So I don't think there's a cut and dry answer here when it comes to certifications. I can't just blankly go, yes, get your AWS certs. That's what you should absolutely do. I think you really need to figure out what goal you're trying to achieve, and then attain the certifications that help you move in the direction of your goal. So yeah, there's some planning and there's some internal reflection that needs to happen if you're planning to get a certification. So that's my thoughts on the topic. If you're looking for training material around certifications, I just want to put out there, I still have a few 30-day passes to Pluralsight. I think I've got like 5 left. If you hit me up on Twitter, LinkedIn, or wherever, the next 5 people who hit me up for that, I have a 30-day pass. It's no strings and no credit card. Just let me know. I can send you the code for that 30-day pass. And if there's a certification you're looking for, hopefully that'll help you on the way, especially if your work isn't going to pay for it. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and share if you don't mind, and I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, stay healthy and stay safe, everybody.